Trauma isn't always the loud, shattering event that we see in movies. It's not always the flashback that stops you in your tracks. Sometimes, the most telling signs of trauma are quiet. They are the habits, the reflexes, and the ways of thinking that become so deeply a part of us. We don't even see them anymore. They are the echoes of a past pain, shaping our present in ways we can't quite understand. Your body keeps a score, even when your mind tries to forget the game. And these unconscious behaviors are the language it uses to tell you what happened. So today, we're going to listen. We're going to explore 7 things people with trauma do, often without ever realizing why. This isn't about labeling or diagnosing. It's about understanding. It's about finding the why behind the what and taking the first step toward compassion for yourself. Let's begin. Number 1, constant, unnecessary apologizing. Do you find yourself saying, "I'm sorry," for things that have nothing to do with you? Someone bumps into you in a crowd, and you're the first one to apologize. You feel the need to say sorry for taking up space, for having an opinion, or even for feeling your own emotions. This isn't just about being polite. For many who have experienced trauma, especially during their formative years, this is a deeply ingrained survival mechanism. When you grow up in an environment where your needs were seen as an inconvenience, or where your very presence could trigger someone else's anger, you learn to make yourself smaller. You learn that apologizing is a de-escalation tool. It's a way of saying, "Please don't be mad. I'm not a threat. I will take the blame so that there is peace." This habit comes from a place where you were taught, directly or indirectly, that your existence was a problem to be managed, not a gift to be celebrated. So you apologize for crying because your tears might bother someone. You apologize for being tired because your needs might be a burden. You are constantly trying to smooth things over, to absorb any potential conflict before it even begins. You've become an expert at taking the blame because in the past, taking the blame meant staying safe. The apology is not for what you did. It is a plea for acceptance. Number 2, an inability to truly rest. This is more than just being a busy person or a workaholic. This is the feeling that if you stop, something terrible will happen. It's the deep-seated guilt that washes over you when you try to relax. It's sitting down to watch a movie, but your mind is racing through a to-do list, scanning for potential threats, or replaying conversations. This is hypervigilance. When you've been through trauma, your nervous system can get stuck in survival mode. It's constantly on high alert, scanning the environment for danger. Rest feels unsafe. Silence feels threatening. Your body learned that its survival depended on being constantly prepared for the next bad thing. So even when you are in a perfectly safe place, your internal alarm system is still ringing. To the outside world, you might look productive and driven, but internally you are running from a ghost. You create chaos and busyness to avoid the silence, because in the silence, the difficult feelings and memories can surface. You might feel a profound sense of anxiety when there's nothing to do, because doing is how you kept yourself safe. Your peace can feel more threatening than your chaos, because your chaos, at least, is familiar. You haven't learned that you deserve rest. You've only learned that you must survive the day. Number 3, intense people-pleasing. This goes far beyond simple kindness. This is a compulsive need to make everyone around you happy, often at the expense of your own well-being and identity. You might find yourself agreeing with everyone, even when you secretly disagree. You might find it almost physically impossible to say no to a request, no matter how much it inconveniences you. You become a chameleon, changing your colors to match whoever you are with, just to be liked and accepted. This is often a result of what psychologists call the fawn response to trauma. When you couldn't fight and you couldn't flee, you may have learned to appease your way to safety. If you could anticipate someone's needs and meet them, if you could make yourself agreeable and useful, maybe they wouldn't hurt you. It was a strategy to disarm threats by becoming indispensable and non-confrontational. The consequence is that you can lose yourself. You spend so much energy monitoring other people's emotional states that you forget to check in with your own. You might not even know what you truly want, what you believe, or who you are outside of your relationships with others. You became a mirror for everyone else, and you forgot you were supposed to have a reflection of your own. Your identity became a service to others, not a home for yourself. Number 4, zoning out or dissociating. Have you ever been in the middle of a conversation and suddenly realize you have no idea what was just said? Or found yourself driving home and having no memory of the journey. This is more than just daydreaming. This is dissociation. It's a mental escape when a physical one isn't possible. Dissociation is the mind's superpower for surviving the unbearable. When a situation is too overwhelming, too frightening, or too painful, the mind checks out. It creates a distance between you and the reality of what's happening. It can feel like you're watching your life from outside your body, as if it were a movie. It can feel like the world is foggy or unreal. It can also manifest as memory gaps, where you lose chunks of time. This was an incredibly effective tool for getting through a traumatic experience. The problem is, the brain doesn't always know when to turn it off. It can become a default response to any form of stress, even minor, everyday stress. A slightly tense meeting at work or a difficult conversation can trigger this checking out process. It's the mind's way of turning down the volume on a world that it learned could become too loud without warning. You're not being absent-minded. Your brain is trying to protect you from a pain it thinks is about to happen again. Number 5, an overwhelming reaction to small triggers. Does a small, everyday mistake, like spilling a drink or sending a text to the wrong person, send you into a spiral of shame and panic? Does a minorly critical comment from your boss feel like a catastrophic failure? This is a hallmark of unresolved trauma. The intense emotional reaction you're having is likely not about the current situation. The spilled drink isn't the problem. The small trigger in the present has unlocked a massive store of unfelt emotion from the past. This is sometimes called an emotional flashback. Your body and your emotions are reacting to the old threat, not the new minor one. The person who made the small critical comment suddenly feels as dangerous as the person who caused your original trauma. It's like your emotional cup is already filled to the very brim with past pain. The smallest new drop of stress makes the whole thing overflow. People around you might see you as overly sensitive or dramatic, and you might even believe that about yourself. But you're not overreacting to the present moment. You are finally reacting to the past with the intensity it deserved, but that you couldn't safely express back then. You aren't crying over the spilled milk. You're crying for all the times you were made to feel small, helpless, and broken. Number 6, a fear of happiness or self-sabotage. This is one of the most confusing and heartbreaking patterns. You work so hard to achieve something, a healthy relationship, a promotion at work, a sense of inner peace, and right when you get it, you do something to push it away. You pick a fight with your loving partner. You miss a deadline at your new job. You stop doing the things that were making you feel good. Why would anyone sabotage their own happiness? For someone whose life has been defined by chaos and instability, calm can feel deeply unsettling. Safety and happiness are unfamiliar territories. Your nervous system is wired for crisis. When a crisis doesn't come, it feels like you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. This waiting can be more anxiety-inducing than the crisis itself. So, you unconsciously create a crisis. You return to the familiar state of being, even if it's a painful one. At least pain and chaos are predictable. Happiness, on the other hand, feels vulnerable. If you allow yourself to be happy, you have something to lose. And the fear of losing it again can be more powerful than the joy of having it. You learn to find comfort in the storm, so now the sunshine feels blinding and exposed. True healing involves learning that you are allowed to feel good, that you are worthy of peace, and that calm does not have to be the before to a storm. Number 7, difficulty with boundaries. For a person with a history of trauma, boundaries are a confusing concept. They often manifest in one of two extremes. Either you have rigid, impenetrable walls, or you have no boundaries at all. Having overly rigid boundaries means you let no one in. You keep people at a distance. You avoid intimacy, and you might come across as cold or aloof. This is a fortress built to ensure you are never hurt in the same way again. If no one gets close, no one has the power to harm you. On the other hand, having porous or non-existent boundaries means you let everyone in. You overshare with people you've just met. You take on other people's emotions as your own. You allow people to take advantage of your time and energy because you don't know how to say no. This happens when your own boundaries were repeatedly violated in the past, and you were taught that your personal space, physical and emotional, was not yours to control. Neither of these is healthy. Both are survival responses. Healing involves learning how to build a fence with a gate, a fence that clearly defines where you end, and another person begins protecting you. but a gate that you control, that you can choose to open for people who have earned your trust. Your boundaries are not walls to punish the world. They are a sacred space you create to honor yourself. If any of these 7 things felt familiar to you, please know you are not alone. And more importantly, know that these are not your character flaws. They are not signs of weakness. They are battle scars. They are the clever, creative, and brilliant ways your mind and body figured out how to keep you alive. The first step is awareness, seeing these patterns not as who you are, but as what you learned to do to survive. And the good news is, what has been learned can be unlearned. It's a slow journey, one that requires immense patience and self-compassion. But it is possible to teach your nervous system that you are safe now. It is possible to reclaim your identity from people-pleasing. It is possible to learn how to rest. Thank you for spending this time with me today, for having the courage to look inward. If this video offered you a moment of clarity or helped you feel seen, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content that aims to support your journey. And now, for the comments. I'd love to know, and I'm sure others in this community would too, which of these 7 points resonated with you the most? There is no pressure to share, but sometimes just typing it out and seeing that others feel the same way can be a powerful step. You never know whose feeling of isolation you might ease just by sharing your own truth. Take care of yourself. We'll see you in the next one.